Let's just wait for a while until the recording start. Okay, so it's 16 already. So good morning, everyone. Okay, today is going to be the real class that we're going to start about the computer network and security one. Can you give me a minute? I'll going to close the window. There are a lot of noise coming from the windows. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And the slide that I'm going to use it today is going to be two slides. The first one is going to be the research paper, which is I'm not going to go very deep, but it's going to argue something and show you something on this research paper. So this one is called No One Can Hack My Mind from the Google research. Okay, and the second one, okay, is going to be the deep down into TCP IP protocol. So I'm going to review TCP IP protocol. It's just in case if you forget it or you not have learned it before in computer network, okay, infrastructure. But if you have once again, okay, if you have any question, okay, you can ask me in the class or you can drop me the message in the class. Okay, so let's just get started from the first one with the paper called No One. How can I get rid of this one? Okay, good. No one can hack my mind. It's basically this paper is talking about expert and non-expert security practice. Okay, I'm going to ask many of you about what do you normally do for the network security to protect yourself? Okay, to protect yourself. Okay, let some of you just give me some of the answer. Okay, how do you protect yourself from the security threat on the network? Okay, I'm going to open up my trackpad and use the slide. Okay, with the new window here, and I'm going to share my screen that I can write down. Share screen. Okay. Okay, I got one answer. Okay, sorry. One VPN. The other. Do you have the other? Use Google. Okay. Second, use Google Authenticator. Third, yes, very good. Two-factor. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Antivirus? Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? It's just sorry for. Okay, so it's actually okay. I'm gonna go back and share the slide again. Okay, by stop sharing the screen and come back to share this slide. Okay, I'm gonna take this one off. Okay, from this research, okay, if you have time, okay, I would recommend you, okay, to have a very quick read on this paper. And it's basically this paper compare between expert and non-expert. And they compare the method or the methodology that the non-expert and expert, how are they different to protect themselves? I just want to go very quick. Okay, many they're saying that, yeah, I have to install antivirus on my computer. Okay, many saying that they have to have a different way to protect themselves. But I just want to have a very quick look at this one. Okay, with the graph or the percentage to tell the difference between expert and non-expert. The number is very similar, like they do the research on 231 and 294 of the non-expert and 231 for the expert. So for the expert, okay, to update the system, to make the system up to date, many of the expert, okay, is you can see the difference. For the non-expert, they don't even talk about how are they going to, I'm going to give this one a bit bigger so you can see more. Okay, okay, good. I have the problem with my eyesight, so I love big one. Okay, so if you compare between expert and non-expert, basically non-expert won't even think about how to keep or try to keep their system up to date, especially update the security patch on the system. So many of the experts, you can see the difference of the expert here. Okay, the expert here, okay, I don't want that one, sorry. The expert here, okay, more than like 30 times that the expert normally will give, okay, to update their system. The second one, use unique password. So this is very similar or very close because non-expert and expert typically they are forcing to use very unique password. I know many of you will use a very simple password. This is very easy to guess or very easy to crack. For example, if you use some of your name, family name, or your pet's name, or your DOB, the date of birth, or some of the word that you can find in the dictionary, and that one is quite easy, okay, for the hacker to do the dictionary attack on your password. But it's very similar that the expert and non-expert I use and know this, that this is the very good method to protect yourself on the internet. Okay, and this one here is a bit different, and I'm quite happy that one of you have answered this one. Use two-factor authentication. Okay, many experts, they know that, hey, they use two-factor authentication, but non-expert, they won't even think about to use two-factor authentication. So what is it? It's the two-factor authentication. Can anyone in this one tell me what is it? It's the two-factor authentication. Hello, are you guys still there? ยังอยู่กันไหมครับ ยังอยู่กันไหมครับ
อยู่ค่ะ
So what is it? It's the two-factor authentication.
Is it
Yes.
like a cross check?
Yes, yes. It's basically, I'm going to talk about two-factor authentication or more detail, but I'm going to give you a brief of what is it. It's the two-factor authentication. Many of the platforms nowadays, we are using two-factor authentication already. If you compare to one-factor authentication, for example, if you are using university account, and if you want to log into your university account, your username is the email address, and it's very, very easy to guess. So one-factor authentication is just really the password that the hacker have to guess. So when the hacker try to hack into your account, the only factor is the password that the hacker have to find it out. But it's the different one if you use two-factor authentication. The very first two-factor authentication has been introduced in the world by using we call the keychain number. It's been using by the bank system. For example, if you want to log into the bank account, okay, the bank will give you a keychain, a digital keychain that the number on the keychain will sync with the server, okay, and this server will sync this number for example 5 years, and after 5 years you have to go back to the bank and resync this number again, and the number will be changed every like 5 to 3 minutes. So whenever that you want to log into your bank account, you need your username and the password. The username is quite easy to guess, but the password, you type it down for one. But once you type username and the password, you have to type down the number that show on your keychain, the digital keychain. You have to take your keychain out and have a look on the number on that keychain. Is typically 6 to 8 number. You type it down on that number, okay, and once you type 3 of them down, it's going to compare the number into the serial number with the number that they generate for 5 years on the server. So if you go to, for example, the net cafe, okay, the internet cafe, and you type down the thing on the computer, which is not safe at all in the internet cafe. You might have the virus, or you might have some of the spyware that can spy your username and the password. But if they spy your the two-factor authentication or the number on this keychain, the number can be used just only 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, number is going to be changed. So if they get that one, they won't be able to log into your account. They have to take your keychains as well in order to take into your account. If we compare nowadays, the bank system has changed. Rather than use keychain, we all do have password. Oh, sorry, mobile phone. So it's the same thing of two-factor authentication. Whenever that you want to withdraw the money, okay, you're using like withdraw the money without so on and so forth, or you want to pay the money to someone. So the bank will send this digital, okay, one-time password that we call to your mobile phone as a SMS, and you have to put this number on the system in order to do the transaction. Once you put this number already, the number won't be able to use it anymore. So even you lose your username and the password, but the next time you want to do the money transfer or you want to do your bank transaction, the bank will send you a new one-time password as two-factor authentication again. Okay, so it's more safe that if you have a chance to lose your username and the password, but you still have another protection step for this authentication. This one is called two-factor authentication. Okay, you can set two-factor authentication nowadays onto your mobile phone. For example, if you want to log into your line on the computer, they use your mobile phone to scan the QR code and let you that one to log it in. It's not very similar to two-factor, but it's more safe. But another one, for example, if you want to log it into the Google account on the other one, it will ask you to pop up your Google, okay, on your mobile phone and slide it in, and it will show the number. And another example, if you want to log it in the Apple account on the other computer, okay, many of you might have been using the Apple product. So when you type down your username and the password, okay, it will send a number onto your one of the device that they detect that is very close to the computer and ask you to put the number into that one. So that one is called two-factor authentication. It means nowadays we use the thing called one-time password. Okay. The next one, okay, yeah, strong password. Okay, but if we compare to the expert might not use the thing called the strong password, but they would suggest that you use the thing called the password manager. The password manager. How many of you have know the password manager? How many of you know password manager? ใครรู้จัก password manager มั้งครับ I know that a lot of you are using Google Password Manager already. By using the password manager, you don't have to type the password every time, the username and the password many times. Okay, so you reduce the leaks, okay, for the keyboard capture, okay, by using the password manager to remember password for you. And whenever that you want to log into this site, the password manager will type down a blank password without typing down on the keyboard and send it to the server by yourself. Okay, the next one, yes, if we have a chance, we can go to HTTPS rather than HTTP. Yeah, don't share info. Yeah, use antivirus. This is the huge difference. Okay, the expert is less than like 1/3 to saying that use antivirus to protect themselves. Use Linux. Verify the software before you install it, and yeah, be careful every time of everything. Okay, visit Orino website. It's going to be answered by non-expert more than expert. Change password often. Yeah, some of you might answer that, hey, change password often, but non-expert. They use the password manager, but they change passwords as well. And the last thing is called delete the cookie. Okay, so this is the percentage different, okay, and show you about what the non-expert protect themselves, or what normally non-expert answer to protect themselves. So in the class, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to talk, not teach, okay, and give you what all technique that you can use to protect yourself for the first time. And you have to learn many protocol and technique how to design and protect the systems as well. But we're going to start from protect ourselves first. Okay. There are some more graphs that they are here as well. If you can see this one, they put it into the different graph about expert and non-expert. This is what experts saying the most. Update the system, use two factor, password manager, unique password, HTTPS, and this is what non-experts saying the most. Antivirus, change password often, visit Orino website, don't share info, delete cookie, verify software, and use Linux. So this paper from Google, okay, is the research from 2015, and it still be a fact that normal expert and non-expert on network security answer to protect themselves. Okay, you can download this paper, and if you have time, you might have a look on this one. Okay, when you have free time. Okay, question. Any question? Any question? มีคำถามไหมครับ Got question? No. Okay. Okay. Thank you. The worst. Okay. Thank you. The worst thing is that I have to teach the same thing in the afternoon as well with another class. So yeah, am I quite lucky that I'm going to use this video and open it up. If I have to talk this, if I have to teach like morning and afternoon, it's going to be exhausted for me, and after the day I'll feel very sore. My as photo is just the same thing happen. Okay, let's just get to the first thing that we're going to learn today. Okay, you see my slide. Okay, good. So the first topic that I'm going to give you is the review of the TCP/IP, which is, I don't know if I think many of you have learned for the last semester on computer network already, but I just decided that I'm going to give you a review again of the TCP or the review of the IP. Most of the security on the computer network are the security on the communication based on IP. So it is quite important that you have to understand the IP protocol, and you have to understand why the IP protocol that had been invited to the world long time ago is actually 49 years already. The IP version 4, and during that time the inventor of the IP, they don't even think that we're going to have a lot of bad guy, or we call the hacker, try to hack the other people, okay, on the internet. Yeah, of course they don't even think that the protocol will live for 49 years already. Now today we have IPv6, which is more secure, but we have to accept that IPv4 is the majority, the network protocol that we are using. Yeah, we be using IPv6 now today, but it's not that much that we are using compared to IPv4. Okay. Once again, if you have question, please ask me. Okay. If we're talking about the IP, we have to compare the IP with the layer. You might have known that the IP have 4 layers, not 7 layers. Can anyone here can tell me can list me the name of 7 layers that you have learned from last semester? The Open System Interconnection or SI 7 layer. Can you tell me what is the 7 layers? Start from the first layer. Okay, the first one is the physical layer, right? Can you remember? เรียนมาหรือยังครับ เรียนมาหรือยังYep. Okay, start from the bottom. The first one is physical layer. Okay. The next one, data link layer. The next one, the network layer. Okay, good one. One of your friends have answered already. The physical data link network transport session presentation layer and application layer. That one is the open system interconnection layer, which is we separate. Okay, the data communication into each layer, and they try to do that because they want to separate the job or separate the work for the company, the manufacturer company. If you are doing software, you just concentration on the application or presentation or session layer. If you are doing like the hardware, just concentration on data link and physical. If you are doing like the fiber optic, you concentration on physical and data link only. So that's why we can separate the job as a hierarchy job that we learn. But if we compare to the encapsulation layer of the internet have only 4 layers. Okay, the first layer we call host to network layer. Okay, the host to network layer is basically combine the physical layer and data link layer together. Okay, together. So what is it? So in the internet, the IP, the data link and physical and data link are combined and call that one host to network. So basically, when Attention just call me. Can you give me a sec? Okay, sorry. I just called Johnson this morning, telling him about the problem on the Moodles. That when I create the mixed class on the Moodles, and I try to import the backup that I created to the mixed class, but rather than going to the cover one, the mixed class is go to one of the class that we combine that one. So I'll find a way with Dansan to solve that the problem, or probably I don't know how to use it properly. Okay, anyway, just come. Okay, so the next one is the IP layer. This is the IP layer, is the network layer. If we compare to the 7 layer. The next one on top of the IP, we call the TCP layer, which is, yes, of course, is the transportation layer. But the other less session presentation and application, we call that one as application layer. So it's basically the application layer is compiled session, presentation, and application, and it's up to the programmer to program the whole these 3 layers for them. So the IP is basically defined 2 layers with TCP and IP. Yeah, of course, it can be another thing called UDP if you might have heard about that one. Okay, and the underneath is the host to network, which is, I explained it already, is physical plus data link. And this one is the responsibility of the manufacturer that doing the hardware. For example, if the Cisco doing the hardware on manufacture the Wi-Fi circuit, network interface circuit to integrate onto your notebook. So they have to concern with physical and data link. It's the SMC company or Huawei company. They manufacture an Ethernet network security circuit Ethernet. So the one that you can plug the landline in. So that one they have to concern with physical and the data link. So with this one here, the internet is 4 layer. Okay. This one here, if you want to study more about the Ethernet, okay, and the IP, I provide you some of the link that if you have more time, you can go or you can listen to the class. No, actually, this one here, I'm really sorry for the missed version. I suppose to have the English version, but I'm going to upload the English version soon. Okay, I have to find out. I've been teaching this class when I was doing my PhD in University of New South Wales. So the first version of the handout was on English only. So when I come back, I translate into Thai. So I suppose to have both of the version. Okay, I'm going to upload with the same name, but I'm going to put the back as ENG, the English version for you. Sorry for the Thai version. And this one here, I support to have some of the photo. I'll check it out. Okay, this one here, host to network, physical and data link. I explained that one already. Okay, the internet layer is the network layer. I explained it already. And if you want to find more about the IP protocol, you might go with the RFC 791. How many of you can give me what is the RFC? What is the RFC? What is the RFC? Can you tell me what is it is the RFC? So what is it is the RFC? Can anyone tell me what is it is the RFC? Please.
Is it request for comment?
Yes, very good. It stands for the request for comments. Okay. The other. So what is it is the request for comment? So what is it is the request for comment? So what is it is the request for comment? Can you tell me what is it is the request for comment? So I'm gonna show you some of the thing. If you want, you can go to ifceeditor.org or IETF-RFC, which is they normally, okay, they normally going to give the database of the RFC for the whole thing. So what is it is the RFC? We're going to explain that, okay. The RFC is stand for request for comment. Every network protocol that we are using to communicate, for example, the HTTP protocol, for example, FTP protocol, for example, IP protocol, anything that we created, and we call that one as the protocol to make the communication between two and both ends. Before we can communicate to the other, we have to send that one to the RFC organization, which is we going to send the list and the definition and the protocol to the RFC. And that one is request for the other to comment to improve our protocol. If we come up with our fancy protocol to communicate, for example, KMITL protocol for communication, we can send that protocol to the RFC, and the RFC will give you the number. And the other, okay, we come in and comment for the protocol for you to be able to improve your protocol. And whenever that the protocol has nothing to be commented, okay, it's going to change from RFC to STD. For example, that I show you the RFC 791 is the, okay, the IP, and it is changed to be STD number 5 already. But, okay, I'm going to have a look at that one. This is the document that they sent about the RFC of thing. So whenever that the researcher have invited new protocol, so they're going to name the protocol and send to RFC, and the RFC will number it and publish it into the internet and let the other to comment it, so you can improve your protocol to communicate more. If the protocol have no comment for a long time, so it means that it's not going to be improved anymore. So it changed that one into the STD. For example, it changed to STD5, but most of the protocol, when they change to STD, they obsolete. So many protocols that we are using nowadays, they are having the RFC number with the document of how this protocol works. okay, how this protocol works. For example, okay, I want to search the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, okay, SMTP. So I want to check the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So it's IFC. Do you know Simple Mail Transfer Protocol? How many of you have heard about this one? It's basically the protocol that you use to send an email. Okay, an email. Okay, and the very first one is IFC 788. So it's telling about the IFC protocol. I don't like to use that one. And basically, it's saying that you have the sender as a software to send the data and the mail receiver. It's actually the pop mail receiver. And whenever that you want to send an email, you can telnet, or you have to use your program to write down the token, mail form, colon, and the receiver. And the mail server will reply, okay, and the receiver form to whoever that you want to send it to. You have to use this format to communicate to the server. Okay, long times ago when I teached about the IFC, I used the telnet, okay, to telnet into what port is it? This one. Let me search. PORT. I cannot remember long times ago what port is it. This one. Let's search. Okay, let's search on my port 25. Okay. So it's basically you can use the program called Telnet, okay, to Telnet to the port 25, okay, and when you connect to port 25 to the server, okay, you can use this normal protocol by typing the text, and the server will send the message back with okay, and you can send the data. But by using this one, okay, I am not in the university, so I cannot connect directly to the mail server of university because it's outside. If I telnet in, the firewall will going to block me to go in, so I won't be able to show you here. But it's basically, you can see the security point on this protocol. It means that the mail form can be from anyone. For example, I can say that mail form ใครดี mail from Joe Biden and send to whatever that I can find the receiver, for example, Pipat. So I can fake to be anyone. Because by the protocol, if you have a look, very quick look at the protocol, they don't even care to prove that the sender is the real or the sender not the real one. But it will check up the receiver after you click OK to send. If the receiver is not there, it will reject it and send back to the sender. But the protocol have one security point that they don't even check this text of the message that the sender is even the real guy, or the sender can be fake can be spoofed to be anyone in the world. Okay, sorry, I can't show you because we have to be at the uni to telnet into the mail server of the uni. If we telnet from the internet, the firewall will kick the message out. Okay, so it's basically if you want to write some of the software, or if you want to study the protocol, You can go anytime to the rfceditor.org. You type down the search, okay? You can go to the advanced search with the number or some of the word that you want to study some of the communication protocol and have a look of the document, okay? If you want to write a software called like the mail software, okay, the mail client software, like whenever that you want to send an email, you use your own mail client software, and you want to write down your own your software, you have to study the protocol of the mail, okay. So basically the RFC is just the request for comment, but most of the protocol, not most, all of the protocol that if you want to allow the other to use your protocol, you have to register to the RFC. And once this some of the protocol cannot be improved or no one subject to improve it for a long time, it will change to STD or standard. But most of the standard protocol are obsolete, which is mean no one using that one anymore. For example, like AppNtalk long time ago. Okay, I can show you some of the very fancy FC. I can show you some of the fancy. Let me check out. IP over Avin carrier. Okay, I see this one here. The IP over Avin carrier. So it's basically long times ago, there are the research. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it's the April the Fool. Okay, and they are the researcher in I cannot remember the country. I guess it's Norway or the Norway. I guess it's from Norway. They have a group of research that they have nothing to do during the April the Fool. So they come up, hey, why don't we come up with the very fancy and make the world laugh? So they print out the ping package, you know the ping, right? Like this one. They print out the ping package with the data and throw that one into the piece of paper and put that piece of paper into the pigeon and let the pigeon fly to the other end. Once the pigeon alight to the other end, there are one guy that take that piece of paper from the pigeon leg, and after that throw down back the data to the computer and let the computer bounce back. See, ping and send the data back, and put that one back to the region or to another region, pigeon, sorry, to another pigeon leg, and let pigeon fly back to the originate building. Once the pigeon arrived to that building, the guy took the paper out from the pigeon legs, and after that typed down the data back to the computer, and he measured the the round trip time of this one, and he's saying that, hey, I will need this one, okay, to register for RFC. And RFC, hey, it's no one using IP over pigeon before, so this one here is this one, the RFC 1149, and is registered for RFCs as well. And what is the craziest thing is someone tried to improve this RFCs as well, and someone improved this RFC as well to make it better. So It's very funny guy that they try to make the world laugh and they come up with a very fun. And the IFC number is 1149. If you want to have a look, you can go and have a look of video. You can search on the Google on the day that they test the ping packet on the pigeon. And they named it the IP over avian carriers. Okay. I'm not going to hope that yes, I'm not going to hope that some of your guys will come up with IFC. It means probably IP over dogs or IP over 11. It's just a Thailand. So you might register for your own IFCs as well, and you will get your name on the IFC. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. So that one is the IFC. Okay. The Internet Protocol a long time is IFC 79. If you want to have more detail and you want to study more, you can go to IFC 791. But basically, the Internet Protocol are defined three main major important. The first one is define addressing. The second one, they define the routing. And the third one, they define the fragmentation. Okay. This is if we have a look of the IP datagram or the header of the IP datagram. How many of you, okay, how many of you have studied some of this IP datagram already? Please tell me. ใคร study IP datagram ตัวนี้มาในคลาสแล้วบ้างครับตอบหน่อย Good. Good one. Good one. So in that case, I'm going to go quite quick. So the IP datagram is consists. Okay, I have the explanation here already. Okay, I have the explanation here already, but I'm going to go and explain it very quick. Or someone here want me to go a bit more detail to make you the review of the IP datagram? Please tell me. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go a bit more detail, not to go like quite quick. Okay, the IP datagram is 20 bytes. It consists of 5 lines. It has to consist of at least 5 lines or 20 bytes. Each line is the octet. Which this is mean each line is 32 bits. So the IP datagram is consists of 5 lines at least, with each line is 32 bits. It can have an option for the IP datagram in case if you want to improve or you want to do the comment or the IFC and come up with your fancy protocol on the IP. You can use the option to put your data on that protocol. But whenever that you put the option in, you have to patch the line to the full line of 32-bit. So it means that you can have 5 objects, 6 objects, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can put more of your spatial data in case of you want to improve the IP or you come up with your fancy protocol. You need the option to put your spatial data in. But the option have to be patched for the full line. Okay, forget about design our own new IP protocol. We consider and concentration just already the standard. It consists of 5 lines. Start from two of the bottom, which is very easy. The destination IP address. You know about the IP address already, right? So it's 32 bits of the destination IP address, and the next one, the 32 bit of the source IP address. On the top one is called the information line. Okay, on the top one is called the information line, which is the first 4 bit. Okay, is identified as a version of this IP. It can be IP version number 4 or version number 6, so the line going to be different. But the fourth 4 bit is the version of the IP. In this case, it's version number 4. The second field is 4 bits as well, which is identify the length of the header, the IP header, or we call the IP header length. Of course, typically for normal IP that we are using, this number is 5. It means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 rows at 32 bit is. You can have 6 if you have option. You can have 7 if you have more option of the data. If you come up with your own protocol on top of that, you want to adjust or change something on fancy on the IP address. So this number you have to change that. But basically this one is 5. It means you have 5 lines. The next 8 bits, okay, it's used for the type of service. It's basically has been used for the quality of service. Nowadays, we rarely use this one. It means that if we compare long time ago in the era that we start to use the internet, there are a lot of ISP that they offer the internet service. Especially when I was in US, the American online offer that, hey, I can use the internet and I have to pay, but I don't have to pay for monthly, like a buffet. So nowadays we use the thing called the buffet. For example, okay, I paid 300 something. I pay like 600 baht per month, and I can use whatever that I like it. Okay, but long times ago, we don't have to pay like monthly, but we pay per the amount of the data that we want to download. But long times ago, the router, most of the router support the thing called the quality of service. Basically, we call that one called the priority package. For some of the company or some of the guy that they want more speed or more priority on their data package, they can put the number. Okay, the lower of the number, the higher of the priority. So it means that the higher priority, rather than when the package align to the router, you don't have to go to the queue, but you can go directly to the top of the queue and ask the router to serve it and send your IP to the destination first. So with this type, it means your IP will have the privilege or priority to go. You don't have to go to the back of the queue. So the router will serve it the higher priority package before the lower priority package. Of course, the router have to have the very big buffer to compare and to make a decision on the priority of each packet. And that one make the router go quite slower and more slow. So normally nowadays, network infrastructure that we are using in the world are very quick compared to 20 years ago. We're talking about 10 megabit to 100 megabit per second. But now we're talking about terabyte per second for the network infrastructure already. So this TOS or type of service are not using anymore in normal network. Just in case if you want to use it in some of the factory, you have to buy a router that support TOS as well. This is this kind of the router can be rarely find, and if you want to find one, it's going to be super expensive. So you use normal router is okay to serve because the network infrastructure is 10 gigabit per second for normal household using anyway. So the type of service typically say obsolete. The next 8-bit, okay, is total length. The total length means the length of this one plus data. So the total length means the length of the header includes the data fields as well for the length of the IP package. Okay, the first line is the information line. We go to the second one, okay? Once again, if you have question, you just ask or drop me a line. Okay. The next one is the fragmentation line. So what is it? Is the fragmentation. Can someone tell me? What is it? Is the fragmentation. Can someone tell me? No, I don't have the fragmentation list in this slide, but if you want to know, I can explain you some. What is it? Is the fragmentation. Okay. For the higher layer, when you send the data, it's typically the file or the data that you want to send it out into the IP. Normally, you won't be able to fit the whole data. For example, if you want to send 100 megabyte of the file, you won't be able to fit 100 megabyte into the data field of the IP package. The file have to be separated into pieces. If you imagine, if you want to send the stuff into the train bogie, if your stuff is too big, you have to divide your stuff and fit piece of your stuff into each bogie. You might need like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 bogie of the train to deliver your stuff. It's the same thing for network communication. Once the data in upper hierarchy, upper layer divided into pieces, you put this piece of data into the data field, and you send it into the lower layer. Okay. For example, if this IP are sit on top of the Ethernet or the LAN line, okay, on the LAN line, okay, and you send this one on the LAN line and send it out to the other router, but the router have to send this IP to the other part of the router, which is by using fiber optics or the ATM. Normally, the landline or the Ethernet will accept the data maximum transfer unit or the MTU as 1,500 bytes. Lastly, it's a bit more, but just remember for 1,500 bytes. When you send this data along the router and the router forward to the next router, but the next router have to send this one to the ATM or the fiber optics of ATM, the data have to separate because the maximum transfer unit of another router to send the data to another leg to the next router, the second router, is 50 bytes. So the 1,500 bytes of the data here have to be separated. Or if the next router have the maximum transfer unit as a 500 bytes, for example, okay, the data here have to be separated. Okay, so the data here have to be separated. Let's say 500 bytes. Okay, 500 bytes and another 500 bytes. So for the router to be able to forward to the next one, okay, I'm going to use the tablet, okay, for the notepad to write down some picture so you can see more of the picture. Okay. So we have computer here, computer 1, send the data to first router 1, router 1 send to router 2, and this MTU or maximum okay, I don't want to write the whole thing. It stands for the maximum transfer unit. Okay, is 1,500 bytes. So the first time you send the IP with the header and the data 1,500 bytes, but the router 2 are using not the Ethernet, using for example fiber optic to send to the router number 3. But the MTU here is just only 500 bytes. So this router here won't be able to send the data to R3, except the router 2 have to fragment this IP package by fragment this one into pieces by generate the same thing as a package, but they fragment it and generate 3 packets to represent this package. So it's 500 bytes is, 500 bytes is, and 500 bytes is with the header, same header, except the second line of the ID is going to be different. If I write down the second line, okay, I'll change blue one better. The second line, okay, of the IP header is separated into ID for the first 16 bit and the flag for 3 bit, and the rest is offset. Okay, the other thing is going to be totally the same except with this second line. To use the control of this fragmentation, okay, of these 3 packets that they separate from the originate package. So this 3 packet is going to be let's say this one is the first one, second one, and third one that is sent out. So the first one, okay, in the header, the ID, for example, this one ID, sorry, ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the header of the first one, the ID going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing. The fragment 3 bit. Second one, ID will be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, and third one, ID will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but the fragment going to be different. So how do we use fragment? Okay, if you have a look in this one, the fragment is consists of 3 bits, which is bit 0, bit 1, and bit 2. The bit 0 is reserved, not using it. The bit 1 is mean, I'll write it down here, okay. The bit number 1 is mean DF. The bit number 2 is mean MF is more. The DF is stand for, have a look of the slide, okay. The DF is stand for do not fragment, and MF it mean more fragment. If this one normally set to 0, it means you allow the louder along the way, okay, this louder along the way to fragment your data until it leads to the destination. If the DF is set to 1, okay, DF set to 1, it means you won't allow the louder, the other louder along the way to fragment your data. So if the louder cannot fragment your data and the louder saying that, hey, my maximum transfer unit is 500 bytes. If you not allow me to fragment, the only way that I can do is to drop your message. Okay. Louder cannot forward. It will drop your message and send the data. This is ICMP. We're going to learn about the ICMP later. Okay, and send the internet control message protocol back to the sender and saying that, sorry, I dropped your package because you won't allow me to fragment it. I cannot forward. So it means the sender know that if the sender set the DF is equal to 1, okay, it cannot be succeed to send the data. It's going to drop the packet. Most of the time, by default, this value is going to be 0. It means that you allow all the louder along the way to fragment your data. Okay, once you allow to fragment your data, okay, the first one that you send it out, I'm going to use the first one here, okay, the first one here. The more fragment is mean that, hey, I am the first one, so there are more fragment is going to be 1, and the offset, the first one, the offset going to be 0. This is this 1500. This is start from 0. This is 499. This is 999. Okay. So it means that when this one align to the destination, you're going to put this data, okay, on the package to the position of 0 to the original one. Okay. The second one here, okay, the second one here is going to be 499. And we do have more fragment for the last one here, the third one. So the third one here, okay, is going to be no more fragment. I am the last one. So only the last one will have more fragment flagged as 0. And this last one, the offset is 999, okay, the one that put to the last. So when this packet forward, most of the router will not defragment this one. So basically, if the router cannot forward because your package is bigger than the maximum transfer unit that the router can forward, it will fragment it. But when it fragmented, it will send to the next one, to the next one, and let the job do for the computer too. It will align to the computer to the destination and such. The fragmentation is basically the job of the receiver to receive the whole thing and put everything back to the originate that sent from the source. So basically the router going to fragment it, but the router not going to do the defragment or integrate that one back to the same form as the original. But it will send 500, 500, 500 along the way. If it have to fragment it to 53, it will send 53 for like 10 of them until it reaches to the destination computer. And the destination job is to integrate them or defragment it back to the original form that sent from the source. So this one here, okay, this one here is the fragmentation line. Okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to stop presentation and share the slide again. Okay, this one here is the fragmentation line. Okay, sorry for the Thai version, but I'm explaining it for everything. But I'm gonna find my original one in English version. It's actually the server that I put the data in is be like chain and chain and chain. The last 2 years is bought on IC server Moodle. Now they asking me to put that one onto the center one on the Go EDU Moodle server. And before that one, I have my own server as a website. So it's been changing. I have to spend time to find the original file, but I keep it. I think I keep it. Question. Sorry. Question for the second line. Any question for the second line?ค่อนข้างเคลียร์ไหมครับเคลียร์เนาะ Okay. If you don't have question for this, okay. ไม่เคลียร์เหรอถามคำถามได้เลยครับถ้าไม่เคลียร์ถามคำถามมาเลยเนาะ Okay, no question. Okay. Okay, if you have no question, we continue to the third line. Okay. But before we go to that one, let me get rid of this annoying text line. Okay. The third one, okay, is the control. Okay, is the control line, which is separate into 3 fields. The first 8 bit is TTL. Okay, what is it? It's the TTL. The TTL is stand for time to life. The TTL is time to life or time to live. Okay, what is it? Is this one is the 8 bit of TTL. I give you 5 minutes. If someone can tell me, every year that I teach the computer network or the network security, I love to ask what is the TTL mean. And yeah, of course, some of the students answered correctly. Yes, the lifetime of the package. Yes. Okay, I need more. Yes, I need more definition of that one. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I need to walk to grab a cup of water. So in the meanwhile, let you answer. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Yes. It's just the name, but not detail. Okay, I'm going to open a command line. I am using Windows. I type down CMD. Hold on, I need to make it bigger. ผมสายตายาว Okay. Can you see this command line? Okay. I'm gonna use ping review.kmitl.ac.th. Okay. Anyone, if you don't know ping, just tell me. So yeah, I know all of you know ping command already. So what is it? Is the ping command. How many of you in this card have used ping command before? Please tell. ใครเคยใช้ ping command บ้างครับใครเคยใช้ ping command บ้างมีใครเคยใช้ ping command บ้างครับ Not me. Okay. The other. Uh-oh. ไม่เคยใช้ Okay. It's basically it's very simple command on the network OS. So it's basically it's in the Windows, it's in the MacBook, it's in probably many devices that have to connect to the internet. The ping command is basically is the command that you normally use to check the connection or check if the server is alive or the server is online for you to connect. For example, here I use ping kmitl.ac.th. Okay, and it will transfer to the IP address and it send the data 32 bytes of the data. Okay, to the kmitl.ac.th and it's got the reply with 32 bytes of the data with the time. The lower of the time, the faster of the connection. Okay, and the TTL as well as a 50. More than that, is saying that it's sent for packet and it's received for packets back without any loss. So I can ping. This is my gateway address. So I get that, hey, my gateway address is online and I get the data back. I can use ping. I don't know if the Google, yeah, the Google. Okay, I got Google back, but the Google is mapping using IPv6 now, so I get the data back. So basically, the ping command is the basic command that is in their LV devices that connect to the internet. That you can use this ping command to check if the destination that you want to connect it is online or we call alive. Okay, if you get the message back, basically we call pong back, ping and pong back. Okay, it means that the server is alive, okay, and online. But if you have a look at this one here, the TTL is 50, but the TTL here is 64. So what is it? Is the TTL? Okay, the first thing is mean the IP address of the server that I want to ping to check if it's alive. The second one here is mean they send out 32 bytes of the data to prove it. And the time, this one here called the round trip time, or we call the RTT, which is the time that they stamp when they send the ping out, and when the computer receive the pong back to the server that we want to ping, and it stopped to stamp the time, and this time is called the round trip time. You can see that one I ping my own gateway is less than 1 millisecond, but when I ping KMITL.ac.ts, it's 8 or 9 milliseconds. It means that the lower is the faster, or mean the lower is mean that it's the shorter distance that you can get. Okay, so this one time is mean the round trip time. And the last one here is the TTL, which is we have seen, okay, in this one, the TTL. Okay, I'm going to put it here. Okay, the TTL. So if I ping my router, the TTL send back 64. If I ping KMITL, the TTL is send back 50. Okay, I'm going to use another one if anyone here have ever used it. Okay, oh, sorry, it's the thread RT. Okay. Okay, the thread RT is another basics. Okay, is another basic. I'm going to teach you time to time for these basics too that you can find out on any OS. On Macintosh, it's used TRACEROUTE. In Windows is thread root. Thread RT is the same meaning. So the ping you just already check, okay, the online status, or if the server or if the destination that you want to connect it is turned on and is online. But the test route is tell you more the route that the data will send from one router to another router to another router to another router. I trade route to my my gateway, so it's just only one hop away to my router. But if I change, if I want to trade route to the KMITL.ac.th, so it's basically very similar to the ping, but it's going to show that how many router that I'm going to hop by router to router to router to router to router until I reach to the destination. Yeah, I get some message lot from some of the router. So basically here, I go to my the first one here. You can see I go to my my gateway and I go to the MYAIS fiber optics and go along the time. Some they might show the time out, which is they might not get through, but eventually they get. Just wait for a while. Okay, so you can see that one from my computer to jump into kmitl.ac.th. Okay, I have to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 15 hop away. So it means that from my computer, the packets have to go along with 15 hop to the destination, or basically say I have to go to 14 loaders before the next one I go to kmitl.ac.th. Okay, if I go to the other one, google.com. Oh, google.com, they might have the problem from the first one because that one is the IPv6 along the way. I use IPv6, IPv4 both on my computer. I explain you more about IPv6 as well. Let's see how many hop away. Hop again until I list to the google.com. Okay, just keep the number 14. And you can see that one at the very first time. Okay, I send the data.sh to kmitl.ac.th with the TTL is 50. Okay, but if I send to my to Jasori the gateway, the TTL is originate one is 64. So it means that when I send the data out, my TTL is set by Windows OS as a 64 hop. So whenever that this packet go to the router and the router going to forward to the next router, the router will decrease the TTL by 1. So how many hop from my computer to go to kmit.ac.th? I show you here, sorry. See, 14 hop. So you can see that this number originate from my computer is 64. When it's alive, see, when it's alive to kmitl.ac.th and it send it back, it's 14 hop back to me, right? It set 64 same. So the TTL is equal to 64 minus 14, so it's 50. Okay, so the number here is mean that it's reduced from the maximum that the computer set it, and every hop that is going away, every hop when the router receives the package, before it forward to the next router, find the route and forward to the next router, it decrease the TTL by 1. So with this number, I can still tell you that, hey, from my computer to go to kmitl.ac.th or kmitl.ac.th, go to my computer, I have to go to 14 router along the way to list the destination. The more hop, it means that the more distance of the package is have to traveling along the network, the internet. So it means it's the slower. The lower hop is might imply the faster, but it's eventually the time here is the better. Okay, but the TTL at the back here, I can tell the hop away from my computer to the destination that I wanted to ping. So what is it? Is the TTL at the origin. Okay, when when the inventor of the IP introduced the TTL. So it means that every time that my package go from my place, my computer to the first router or the gateway will reduce TTL by 1 and forward to the next router. The router will receive my package, find the route to send to the next router, and reduce TTL by 1 before it forward to the next router. Okay, the next router, the third router, received it, reduce TTL by 1, forward to the next one, so on and so far until it's reached to the destination. But the special thing is this: once the TTL reach to 0, okay, it means it go along with 64 router already, but it cannot reach to the destination. The router that received the package with the TTL is equal to 0. It will not going to receive, it will not going to forward this packet anymore. It means the time to live is 0. The router that received the packet with 0 TTL will drop the packet out from the internet, and after that send the message back to the sender and saying that the message that they sent back is called the ICMP message. I'm going to teach you more. Okay, this router will drop the packet and send the ICMP message and telling the sender that, hey, I dropped your package because the TTL is 0. So it means that the packet is dead because the time to live is reduced to 0. So the TTL here is have the reason to protect. Normally when we do the routing, we decide the IP, you know how to decide the IP. They will have the default router that you're going to forward the data if you don't know where to forward it to the next one. So to prevent the packet to be circulated on the internet forever, the TTL here is have to be set to some of the number is typically 64 and 124. But basically, most of the OS will set this TTL to 64. Okay, it means that if your packet travels along the internet 64 router and you cannot reach to the destination, that router will drop your packet out to prevent your packet to be circulated on the internet forever. If you allow the packet to circulate to the internet forever, you will flood and you will slow down the internet system, and finally, okay, you will catch down the whole internet. It's the very, very serious one. That's why the IP have to set up a number for TTL. Okay, that is the TTL. We learn ping and test load. Okay. Question. If you don't have question, okay, I'm going to go to this one. Uh-oh. I'm going to give you some of the document, and it is not here, so I'm going to use this one. Go to the network security one. Save. Okay. And I'm going to drop this one to the 5 here. Oh, sorry. Okay. I drop another node. Where is it? It's supposed to be there. Okay. Here. But this one here is kind of mixed Thai and English. It's explain what is it. It's the ping, and if you want, since this class we're not going to have the lab. Okay. Since this class we're not going to have the lab. So you can do it by yourself if you want. Sorry for the English one. But you can, it's going to be some explanation of what is it. It's the ping. Next one, the NS lookup. I'm going to teach you time to time of this common network command, which is you can find out on the Windows and Macs basically. Okay, basically. But it consists of a lot of some command line that you can use on this one. Okay. It's not necessary for you to, if you don't want, it's okay. I'm going to teach you time to time, but I'll download that one. Okay. Okay. Then question คำถามครับคำถาม question คำถามครับคำถามครับ Okay, if you don't have question, we just continue to the next one. The next one is 8-bit. Is the protocol that you normally use on this IP. Is basically we're going to learn that one. There are basically 3 protocols that we're going to sit on top of this one. Okay, which is TCP, UDP, okay, and ICMP. TCP, UDP, and ICMP. How many of you have heard about this word, TCP, UDP, and ICMP? ได้ยินคำนี้ไหมครับ TCP, yes, UDP, yes, and ICMP. Don't worry, okay. I'm going to give more detail on this one. Basically, you need to understand what that I'm going to explain, because the network communication 95% nowadays all around the world is based on IP, and the security point or the security risk is based on IPs as well. Okay. So the protocol means the protocol that you will use on top of the IP, TCP or UDP or ICMP. Basically, before I'm going to explain TCP, UDP, and ICMP anyway, but just roughly, TCP and UDP is for to send a data, but ICMP is to send a control message over the internet. For example, if you drop the packet, you have to tell the sender. For example, if you're saying that I dropped your packet because you don't allow me to fragment, so the sender know. I dropped your packets because TTL is 0. You have to let the sender know. But they're not sending in terms of TCP and UDP, but they send in terms of the Internet Control Message Protocol or ICMP type. So basically, we have 3 types as a common that we use: TCP or UDP to send the data, and ICMP to send the message between data communication. Okay. And the last one is the header checksum. And the checksum here is 16 bit of checksum. CRC 16 is have the standard protocol of the CRC. I'm pretty sure that all of you have learned the cyclic redundancy check already, right? The error control of the CRC, right? Okay. เรียน CRC แล้วใช่ไหมครับผม ตอบหน่อยครับ Okay. So I don't have to go more. Okay. So it's basically it's just 16 bit of the CRC. Okay. Just remember CRC because we're not going to use CRC for this class, but I'm going to put the slide about the CRC in the class. But I'm pretty sure that you know about how to calculate or the algorithm of the cyclic redundancy check as an error control. Okay, except if you really need, I have to spend like almost 1 hour to teach you again. Okay. The CRC we're not going to use in this class, but just remember the CRC is the error control using the protocol or the method called the cyclic redundancy check with the 16 bit. And this one here is just error detection or error checking for the header only, not the data. If you use UDP, you're not checking the data. You don't care about the data at all, but you have to care about the error on the header. If you use TCP, the TCP we have the method, okay, for the CRC32 to check the error on the data. Okay, we learned about TCP and UDP more, but the header checksum is the checksum or the error control for the header only. For the header only. Okay, that's pretty much it for the file line of the IP header. Question until now? Question until now? Okay, just in case, if you want, you can have a look of this YouTube. I just searched it on the YouTube, but actually I do have the document, but look at it at the YouTube, it might get you some idea. Okay, if you have no question, okay, I spare you 5 minutes. Okay, I spare you 5 minutes. Okay, to make a conclusion for the third imprint. Okay, on the IP header before I continue to the next one. Okay. Okay, I come back at 11:05 and ask you for the if you have any question. Any question? Okay, I wait you a couple minutes more while I enjoy my cupcake and coffee. Okay, any question? Any question? Okay, if you don't have question, we continue for the last one for the lecture as we continue for like 2 hours already. Sorry, without the break. Next week I'm going to give you like 15-minute break as according to the university told me. Okay, I forgot about the break. Okay, but eventually you have 5 minutes, 5 minutes to do conclusion. Okay, so we go to the next one. When we're talking about IP process, it's basically, okay, the IP have to be sent into the lower layer, which is called host to network layer, right? And the easiest network layer that for us to understand is the Ethernet or the wireless. The other is going to be the same concept. But for this one here, let's say you connect your computer with the landline or the wireless. Let's say the landline, because I put this one at the Ethernet. IEEE 802.3. Okay. I'm just assume that you're familiar with IEEE 802.3 or the CSMA/CD, carrier send multiple exec with collision detect. You ran that one already, right? เรียนหรือยังเอ่ย เรียนหรือยังเอ่ยครับแลนไลน์ธรรมดา I'm going to stop this working machine. I guess so. Yeah. Yes. Basically, it's on the computer network. Basically, I'm not going to go like deeply into this protocol, but I'm going to explain. So the IP have to be sit on top of the host network, right? So the IP address, basically, we have the IP. But the Ethernet, we have like MAC address, right? We have to map the IP and the MAC address. So they are one of the protocol that we choose know, which is ARP. This is called the Address Resolution Protocol. Is the basic protocol to map the IP to the MAC address. Have you learned the protocol called the ARP, the Address Resolution Protocol yet? Okay. In that case, I'm going to take probably another half an hour explain what happened when you send the data on the IP layer to host to network layer. Okay. The IP have IP address. The host to network layer have MAC address. This is the physical address. So basically, at the very first time, the IP input is compare if the destination IP address is the broadcast or not. If it yes, it's copy that one to the loopback normally and it's sent to the Ethernet, okay, to broadcast it to everywhere in the network. For example, if you just turn on your computer and if you activate the protocol called DHCP request, right? You turn on your computer, you need the IP address, you broadcast it on the network, like you shouting on the network, hey, I am just connect to the network, I need the IP address, so it's broadcast everywhere. So everyone pick up this one, but this broadcast is DHCP. So it just already DHCP server will take the action on this broadcast by accept this one here and look up at the table of the IP list and send the IP that you can use, okay, with the network information back to you. Now it's not broadcast and you can use that IP address to automatically reconfigure your IP address and the network information. If it not, if you want to send it to the local IP, okay, yes, it's go to the loopback, okay, and okay, map this one using ARC and send to the local IP. If it not, okay, if it next, if you want to send it out, okay, is mapping the IP address at the app to the gateway. Okay, this is an app. So I'm gonna show you how we mapping app with the I'm going to show you how we are mapping IP to MAC address using the protocol which has been there using ARP. Remember, it's the same even you use the wireless or the landline. Revert app is not using anymore nowadays, it's obsolete. Okay, I'm going to turn off the sharing screen and I'm going to share my screen and use my tablet, okay, to share my screen. Okay, with the ARP. This is that one stand for address resolution protocol. Oh, sorry. ARP. Okay. So basically you have the IP and you send to host to network. You need a max. ARP is a protocol to find the MAC address that map to the IP destination. So let's see how that one works. So whenever that you want to send, for example, computer X, send the data to computer Y in the same network at the first time, the computer Y. So when computer X we have IPX, max X, IPY, and max Y. You know the max, right? Is the media access control, or we basically call the physical address. You know the definition of max, right? รู้จัก mac address กันใช่ไหมครับ Hello ได้ยินไหมครับรู้จัก mac address เนาะได้ยินผมไหมครับได้ยินผมไหมครับ Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so you know MAC address, right? You know MAC address? รู้จัก MAC address กันไหมครับ Okay, thank you. So basically, if you want to connect to the internet, you need physical address, logical address, and application on top of that one, right? So physical connection, logical connection, and application. Physical connection have MAC address, logical connection have IP address. We have to map them together. Sorry. It's the message from the unit. So basically, when you send the data out, if you want to send from COMX to COMY, okay, we have a protocol called ARP. Inside of this every computer is basically you feed the destination IP to the ARP. Okay, once you feed the destination IP address to the ARP, okay, the ARP will broadcast to broadcast MAC address. Once you broadcast to broadcast MAC address, it means you broadcast into the broadcast address. The router not going to forward it, but any computer that sits inside of this louder will accept this one. So it means that it's sent to everywhere. So what is it? It's the broadcast MAC address. You don't want to get this one for your grade, right? All F. So basically the MAC address is going to be some number, right? 48 bit. First 24 bit is mean the manufacturer of this hardware, and the last 24 bit it mean your unique ID that runs. So combine 48 bit is unique in the world, but this one is the special MAC address, all F. It mean all bit is equal to 1. It mean the broadcast MAC address. So it's for everyone to pick it up, okay, inside the network to pick it up. So when they pick it up, every computer they pick it up. Every computer they pick it up. Once they pick it up, they know that this is the ARP request. It's sent to everywhere. Once the ARP request sent to everywhere, every computer forced to pick it up because the broadcast MAC address is all 1. You don't want to get all F2 for the grade, right? It's very easy to remember the grade that all 1 want to get it. Okay. Is check up that if the IP, hey, who is this IPY? So the message that contained into the ARP broadcast is saying that, hey, who is this IPY? So everyone pick it up. Computer A pick it up. Computer Y pick it up already. But computer A see, oh, I'm not APY, throw it away and ignored it. Computer Y pick it up. Oh, it's me, I am IPY. So the computer Y send the data back. Hey, I am IPY. The data will send it back to the computer X, or the one that are for the ARP to map the destination. It's not the broadcast, but it's sent just a back, okay, unicast back to the one that send the ARP request. So the computer X will know that, hey, the MAC address is the APY, is the MAC Y. MAX Y. So the computer X going to put the MAC Y into the buffer table. Okay, so the next time the computer X want to connect to the computer Y, he don't have to do the ARP request because he requested before and he have the buffer, okay, in the memory already that, hey, the IPY is equal to max Y. So the next time he can send it directly to max Y. So what is it? Is the form that we sent it out. So I'm going to use another page, okay, and write down the data that they normally send it out. Com X, com Y, okay, max X, IP X, max Y, IPY. Okay, when they send the data out, okay, let's see, it's connect this one. The data that is sent out will be look like this form. Okay. Max destination, max sort, IP sort, IP destination, and the whole data. Remember, it's encapsulated into the Ethernet frame. So, but Ethernet frame, when they send it out, you have the IP, right? You have the IP, you send it into Ethernet. The whole thing will be encapsulated into the Ethernet. So in this IP, you have, of course, IP source and IP destination, right? We learned about the IP header already. But when you encapsulate into the Ethernet have their format, right? Frame format. So the frame format is basically, I'm not going to explain more about frame format of Ethernet. Okay, I assume that you remembered it already, but I'm going to explain just sorry for the address. So when the Ethernet sends something out on the LAN line, okay, it have the MAC destination and the MAC source. Here is the point, okay. The MAC destination is first, the MAC source is later, but the but the IP source is first and destination is later. I tell you why later. So the data that we send it here is going to be something like this one. Okay. MAC destination, max Y, max source, max X, IP source is IPX, and IP destination IPY. Okay, and the data will send out. Okay, and the data will arrive to computer Y here. Why do we have to put the destination first? Because normally when you send the data using wireless or using the Ethernet, the data normally sent by using destination broadcast first. It's sent to everywhere. If we're using switch, the switch will use this destination switch to the correct port. Okay, so in order to make the other computer work less or the switch work less, put the MAC destination first. If this one go to the other computer, hey, this is not my MAC address, I throw it away. If it go to the switch can use this one and forward to the correct port. But if you use sort first, they have to process and take the sort out and process the destination before the computer can throw it away. It's not me, or the switch can forward to the right port that have this MAC destination located. So they put the MAC destination in front because it makes the hardware work faster to forward and receive the data. So the first time when the data sent out, you can see here, you know the destination Y, you know the IPX because you form the upper level IP know the source and destination, right? But to find the destination of the MAC address of the IP destination, the app will activate that I told you and put the value in here. So remember, every time when you go lower, like an Ethernet not use IP to communicate, but it use MAC address to send the data out. And if we're talking about long times ago that we not have the switch, we use hub. Okay, hub is not selling anymore because the cost of the switch is cheap. Made in China is cheap. But if we're talking about 15 years ago, hub is cost like 1,000 baht. But switch cost 10,000 baht. But now when it's made in China, switch now costs 500 baht already, so it's quite cheap. So the switch is more performant than hub because hub have the broadcast domain, right? When you send it to the hub, it's broadcast to every port on the hub. So when the computer see this broadcast, so if it's not me, I'm not pick it up. If it's me, I'll pick it up. Like when I say to you, hey, I want to talk to Miss Celinda. Okay, I see the first name. So the other hear me, but it's just only Miss Celinda that going to pick up the message that I wanted to tell you. So it's the same long time ago when we use hub. Okay. The hub going to broadcast to everywhere, but it just read the destination MAC address of the computer will process more. The other told it away. But if it's my MAC address, okay, I take it out, okay, and I process it and send it to the next level. Okay, so let's see more if we have more than this. For example, if I have annoying. A as a computer send to the router, and I want it to send to B. Now we forward to the next network to the router. Okay, let's say this IPA max A, IPB max B. Okay, router have two interface, one interface to one system, another interface to another network system. So let's say IPR1 max 1 for this side of the network, IPR2 and max 2. Okay, for this side of the network. So router is set on in to link between two networks, so they have to have two interface. So each interface has their own IP and max. Okay, if I want to send the data to the local network, it's sent directly, right, to the destination like this one. But if I want to send the data out, not in the local network, okay, as the chart show you. How do you know that it's not in the local network? Before they send the data out, in every devices that connect to the internet, they have their own local, okay, they have their own local routing table. You can check your routing table on every devices, with is saying that IP and the subnet mark. If IP and subnet mark in there, you will have another thing called the gateway. Once you add IP and subnet mark together, okay, you know that the boundary of your local area network or the LAN network. Okay, the destination here is IPB, and you use the IPB to add with your subnet mark, and you find out that the IPB is not the local. So your computer will know that, hey, I'm not going to send to the local, but I will send to the router. See, if you want to connect to the internet, you send to the router. But what happened in the IP address when you send the data out? Remember, you send the data from IPA to IPB, right? So where is the router for? Where is the router here? No, you don't specify the IP of the router, but the routing table is actually created by you using IP and your netmark and the gateway. If you want me to explain more, I explain the routing tables as well. I suppose you learned the routing technique already, right? If you want to explain more, just tell me next time. I will explain the routing technique. Okay, you can see here in the IP header, they have IP source and IP destination. I want to send from IPA to IPB, but the IPB is outside. But you not specific the IP of the router. If you learn, you're saying that, hey, the router, if you want to send it out to the internet, you have to send to the router, default gateway. Yes. The routing table inside every device will know that I have to send to the router. But in this way, the routing table, rather than finding the MAC address of the B, it will find the MAC address of the gateway. instead. So if we go back to the slide that I saw, that I show you, if you know that, hey, I want to send the data out. So if the data is outside, I have to force the router to pick up my package, to pick up my data. And the way to force the router to pick up my data is to specify the MAC address of the destination to be the router. So the data that we send it out is going to be like this one. MAC destination, MAC source, IP source, IP destination. This one send it here, and the router forward send it here. MAC destination, MAC source, IP source, IP destination. Okay, I'm going to change the color. So the IP source is from IP A. Want to send to IP B. The MAC source is yet, of course, MAC A. But the destination, rather than feed IPB to the app, the computer knows that I have to send the package, I have to send the data to the router or force the router to pick up my data. So it sends the gateway IP address to the app. So the router here, the gateway here will send back, hey, I am IPR. You know the IP gateway, right? So the input of app here is IPR and the output is MAC R1. So this one here, they'll put MAX R1 here and send it out. When it send it out to the local area network, see, the router know that, hey, you specify me as a destination. The router pick it up, see the IP of the source, okay, from my side, see the IP of the B, okay, I do the routing using my routing table and forward to the next one. This is this one here, sorry, this one here. This is the first step, this is the second step. So when the router forward this packet to the other side, so what is it? Is the IP source. Can anyone tell me? Yes, the IP is not going to be changed from source to destination along the whole process. So it's going to be IPA and IPB destination. But the MAC source here that sent it out, see, it took out the package, but it keep the IP same. It's use Ethernet to forward from point to point, from router to router, hop to hop. Remember, we see how many router forward the data to each router, how many hop that they jump. So they took just read the data of the IP out, but change the MAC address between router and router, or the router and the destination. So here is sent out from MAC source here, MAC R2. Okay, and the destination here, of course, is IPB is inside this router coverlet LAN. So it's MAC B. Okay, MAC B. So you can see that one, if we look at the IP layer, we have the IP for the router to use that IP source and destination to consult with their routing table to forward to the leg that they connect to the next network. But between router and router, all is physically connected, okay, inside that one. They're using Ethernet or wireless is the same. They're using host to network and using physical address as a MAC to forward from one place to the next hop. So this one here will change time to time. If this one have another louder, for example, louder Y to another destination, okay, it will keep IP-B and IP-A is the same for the louder to be used that one in the routing table. But for the next one, it will change this MAC between both of them, but use IP to feed to the app and the next router or the default router to feed to the app to find the next hop for you. This one is the app and how to combine the IP layer to the host to network layer. For the wireless, it's the same, but for the wireless, it do have 4 MAC addresses to be used. I will explain you about the wireless. I just expect that you not learn about the wireless protocol, but I explain the wireless. Okay, later. Okay, question? No question? Good. Do this one. A X Y B max A I P A max B I P B. Okay, this part IPRX1 max RX1 IPRX2 max RX2. This one IPRY1 max Y1 and IPRY2 and max RY2. Okay, and this one is first, second, and third. Okay, and I draw this one for you. First, just put down just the address. Second and third. Okay, give you 5 minutes to finish this one. Okay, I help you a bit. Oh, sorry. And I can copy it. I think. Copy. Uh-oh. Okay, don't worry. Okay. Okay, 5 minutes. We finish this one, we end the class, and we continue next week. Okay. finish เสร็จยังใครเสร็จบ้างแล้วใครเสร็จอันที่1แล้วครับ anyone here finish the first one okay let's do it the IP will never be changed so this one is IPA to IPB IPA IPB IPA IPB the IP will never be changed but from the first one when the data come out here okay the source is MAC A of course but you force the RX1 to pick it up okay so max X1 okay the second one here is sent from is sent from RX2 so the source will be max RX2 but it's for RXY to pick it up so the destination will be max RY1 this one not RX or X ถูกต้อง and the third one here สีม่วงแล้วกัน the third one here is alive to the destination so it's going to be MACB and the one that send it out is max RY2 here that's it so from hop to hop is manipulate the MAC address to force the next router to pick it up but it keeping the IP address along the way remember the second layer most important okay responsibility or the data link layer most important responsibility is to do node to node delivery to delivery the data node to node the third layer network layer is to do what source to destination delivery so the IP or the address is that we invented is to deliver the data so this one is source to destination delivery so the IP keep remain but node to node delivery here end to end here end to end here okay and end to end here are using by data link layer that way we manipulate the data link layer address which is the MAC address and one of the protocol that involved here is ARP that we just learned it. Okay I'll send the slide to the class now. Supposed to be there now, the slide. Okay, let me check if I have the slide in the class. Okay, the slide is there now. I'll move it. Sorry, I'm going to move it to this one. I move. Okay, and this one here is supposed to be here. In this one, the note of today. Sorry. I sent the slide to the class already. So it's everything that I write down. Okay. That I write down is here. Okay, I can put it up and you can see the whole slide. Okay, so you can use that one. Okay, is pretty much of it for today. Okay, any question? Yeah, I'll find the English version for this slide. Okay, I'll try to find the English version for the slide. Don't worry. Any question? Any question? Okay, if you don't have any questions, so is pretty much of it for today. I still have the same class that I have to explain the same thing. Okay, so